There's no bigger game this weekend at all. I mean, Melrose Gala at Netherdale. It's interesting though because both teams are coming into it. Melrose didn't have a game last weekend, so Gala, of course, down and had that game down at Aberavon. How do they approach it? How many pro players are going to be playing for each side? But Gala have got that per hand, I feel, because they know a victory for them and really the title's there to lose. But Melrose, you feel if they can get victory down at Netherdale, Stuart, I think what you're looking at is that will renew their season. And I think with the players they've got coming back, the likes of Graham Dodds, Bruce Colvin, these players coming back into the ranks, and as I say, depending on what pro players are going to come in, I've heard Matt Robertson could perhaps get a bit of game time. He's missed with the Scotland Sevens at the weekend because I think his partner was about to have a baby or has had a baby. He's a guy that could come in. Guys like Perry Parker could be involved as well, so it's all to play for. I think it's one of the biggest games in years, I think, at Netherdale. Gala have got home advantage. Will they make it count? I think they will. I think they'll just edge it. They've got that nous. They don't know what it's like to win the championship for a long, long time. Yeah, they've won the second division championship, but their goal has been to win this premiership underneath George Graham, and I think they're hunting it down. They're in a great position, and it's theirs to lose. Hawick have got a huge game on at Stirling County. You know, you've got Selkirk in action against Boroughmuir. There's big games for a lot of border sides, but everybody's talking about this game on Saturday, Gala against Melrose. So I think from a neutral point of view, I think everybody was hoping that the other games weren't on and they could all come down and see this game at Netherdale. I reckon there'll be a massive crowd at it. How do both teams approach it? Well, it's how they train during the week, and I think there's going to be a lot of heartache for one side. Melrose, they know they've got to go down to Netherdale and win. They're no stranger to doing that. They've done it before. Gala have had that upper hand on Melrose on a number of occasions, but then that odd game that Melrose have come out on top. There have been some cracking games at Netherdale over the years. I remember Scott White kicking penalties, Scott Ruthven, Alan Dodds running in for a late try. There's been so many fantastic moments in these games, and I'll tell you, for me, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a Hawick man, and it's a mouth-watering game. It's probably the biggest game of the season.
Turning to a big game for Hawick, which is happening this Saturday at Bridge Hall, Stirling. A lot of people calling it an 8-pointer, or in fact a 10-pointer, you could say. But such a vital game for Hawick.
Very much so, yeah. But as I say to you every week, every game that we play is vital in that league. We need to pick up points wherever we can in there to ensure our success and going on for next year. It becomes more and more important as the stuff with the SRU goes on and the proposed Super Leagues and things and whatever. Because if we're not in it this year, we won't be in it for a long while, I wouldn't suggest, because the 9th and 10th side are going to really struggle to get into the top 8 if you're not in it to start off with. So it is vital. It's vital that we stay where we are in the league. We've been very pleased to be able to maintain where we are in the league based on having no massive great depth in squad, and the lads have fought really hard to keep us where we are. We've had 3 or 4 dogfights in the Border League and RBS, which has been reasonable preparation, but it's not the same as the Premiership stuff. And Stirling have been playing Plymouth and top sides, so our preparation compared to their preparation is probably not quite how I would want it. But hopefully Rory Hutton came through 20 minutes last week, and he'll play some part in the game at the weekend, and so that's a big boost for not only us, the club, and the lads that play with him as well. So we're looking forward to the trip, and obviously Youngie is my able assistant here, so we've had a bit of banter tonight as well.
It's a huge game, Boroughmuir. If we've got any contentions of going up this year, we need to go up there and win. And there's a few teams have been up there and turned them over of late. Whether they're as good as they have been, I don't know. They put 50 points past us at Selkirk, but so did Watsonians, and we went up there and beat them. So we'll be really gunning for it next week, and hopefully get that win, and that would stand us up for the next 4 or 5 league games to see exactly where we are at the end of the season. Good to see some of the young boys playing. You're Lewis McLarens and Josh Welsh. That's what Selkirk's been about for the last 4 or 5 years. There's been a lot of young boys come through. Rory Banks is another one who's finally now starting to mature and is actually playing really well. on the wing, out of position, I suppose, a wee bit. He's a rugby player, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, you're not going to leave out a Gavin Craig or a Scott Henry just to accommodate a young player, and he knows that as well, and he knows that he's going to have to learn his trade and do his apprenticeship as such before he's going to get to play where he wants to play.